Dr. Kiki Ramsey, positive psychologist, executive coach.
What inspired you to get into the mental health field?
I started off in the mental health field in the social work role. So I ultimately got my master's in social work, but what inspired that was me helping my mom with her drug addiction as I was growing up. And so she had a substance abuse problem, and I spent a lot of years trying to just help her overcome her addiction. And that ultimately turned into a love of helping other women overcome certain things like mental blocks and, just all the things that we deal with as women and just being human. And so that just inspired my love to help women. And so that's how I ultimately started off in this field.
Yeah, what are some of your methods to help women?
Yeah, so as a positive psychologist, I use a lot of positive psychology methods. And so a lot of people don't know what positive psychology is. So it is the study of what goes right with you. So when we think about psychology, right, psychology inherently is a deficit model. So positive psychology is the opposite. When we think about psychology, we think about depression, anxiety, all of that. So what's the opposite of that? The opposite of that is strengths, happiness. How do we actually live the good life? And so I use a lot of methods as it pertains to positive psychology, meaning I do a lot of coaching, motivational interviewing, where I'm really bringing in and helping see people and women from their strengths, because we all have strengths, but a lot of times only thing we talk about is our deficits. How do we get better at doing this, or how do we get better at doing that? But you're already really good at a whole bunch of things. And so why don't we focus on some of that, amplify that even more, so that you can go out there and be able to be the person who you were meant to be.
That's very smart. Because you do think of like your inner critic and stuff of the negative side and not the positive.
Exactly. Most of us do that. And as human beings, we normally tend to focus on the negative. It's just something that we automatically do. We go towards the negative. A lot of people see the glass half empty versus half full. And so it's in our DNA to look at things from a negative standpoint. And that's why positive psychology says, hey, I know that we do this. We inherently do this. We focus on the negative. But why don't we just even try a little bit to focus on some of the positives? And I think it's been a beautiful thing, the work that I do around positive psychology and helping, women overcome a lot of the challenges that they're dealing with.
Yeah, do you see your clients' confidence level rise as they go through this process?
Absolutely. I mean, wholeheartedly. I love coaching. Number one, it's one of the biggest tools that are on the face of the planet at this point, right? And so when I use the tool of coaching, that's all about me partnering with the client, asking powerful questions, helping them come to their own answers. And when I do that, I can look at the beginning of a session to the end of a session, and people have gone from here to here, because what I do is I help us reframe, right? That's one of the methods that I help my clients with, meaning they may come to me with a problem or a situation, or they may say something. I'm going to ask the reframe question in a positive. My questions are like, well, what if it did go right? What if things were better? Can you look 1 year down the road and share with me how this could be a positive versus looking at this as a negative? That's a reframe. And all my clients are like, oh my God, I never thought about this before, and it's just me partnering with them to help them reframe negative situations, because although situations may be bad, there's always some good that we can find in it.
How can a coach help someone's mental health?
Yeah. Oh my God. In so many ways. So it's very interesting. In my coaching, in my coaching practice, we do some mental health coaching, right? And so a lot of times people don't really know what that means. People think that if you do, mental health, that you have to be a therapist. Well, a mental health coach can do a lot of things that therapy can do, but what we don't do is treat diagnosis, right? So if a person comes to coaching with the diagnosis of, depression or anxiety, we can still help that person, but we're not treating the depression or the anxiety. We're helping them overcome some of the challenges that they may be facing in spite of their depression or anxiety. So we're helping them reach goals. And so coaching can help people and help, people with, mental health issues or blocks to formulate goals, right? To formulate whatever goals they have in their life or their career. And that's what we do, is we help them focus on hitting that goal by going through the coaching process, asking powerful questions, and helping them come up with their own answers and their solutions to the problem that they brought to the coaching session. And that includes anything that is emotional, physical, mental, all of those are included. And they walk away feeling a lot better, more confident about their ability to handle their own problems. Because at the end of the day, we all have stuff going on in our mental health, right? Like, trust me, we stress right now. A lot of people are stressed out, right? And so coaching can help you by helping you set some really powerful goals that you want to reach and that you want to actually work towards.
How does helping others help your own healing process?
Oh my gosh, Michael. That's a really good question. I think that for me, right, I'll speak for myself. I was purposed to help people. So, but in a certain way, right? Because I do think that when it comes to mental health, there's a lot of topics that are very heavy, right? When I used to be a therapist, social worker, I saw a lot of things. And it was crucial. It was heartbreaking, right? I used to work with, women in hospitals and babies and all of that. And so those things are really, really crucial. So I pivoted to coaching because my mental health during that stint of life wasn't what I wanted. I would come home and I would be very, very sad because as a mental health professional, sometimes it's very hard to break away, meaning break your own mental away from what's happening for your patients, which is the beautiful thing. It's beauty. And it also is difficult, right? Because you love and you care for your patients or you care for your clients and you feel their pain. You're empathetic to what they're going through. But when it creeps over into your own personal life and you bring it home every night and you relive that thing over and over again, that's when it gets to be too much. And then, professionals can tend to burn out because we care so much. And I saw that happen in my own life. And so I switched, to coaching, which people still have problems, but for me, they're much more manageable with my own, mental health. And so for me now, the problems that I deal with, I absolutely love. I deal with really helping people find the careers that they love. I help people build businesses that they love. I help people find better confidence, more success, make more money, all of those things. And so helping people now is a pure joy for me. And I get so much out of it. As if I wasn't doing this, I'd probably be somewhere on the couch crying because, because I love this work so much. I also teach coaching and I love seeing students get that light bulb that goes off in their head when they actually learn what coaching really is and how powerful it can be. And so if I wasn't doing this work, I wouldn't be the person I am today because this work is so integral to my own purpose in life.
What is it like getting your message out to a larger audience?
Yeah, I do a couple of different things. I'm on YouTube I do free YouTube classes. I also have the Dr. Kiki Ramsey podcast that I do on a monthly basis as well. I do a lot of speaking for conferences and for organizations across the country, and I do a lot of coaching. I teach coaching at Life University here in Atlanta, Georgia, and I love coaching my own personal clients. And I run a company called the Positive Psychology Coaching and Diversity Institute, aka PCADI. And I have about I have a roster of coaches that are out here sharing the work and sharing the message of, diversity, equity, and inclusion, belonging, all of that, so that all of us can feel like we belong in this world that we live in.
What is it like working with other people who have a similar mission?
Oh, I love it. I mean, the more the merrier, right? Like, here's the thing, right? I always think about, a lot of times, especially in the world that we live in, people pit people against each other, right? Like, there's a lot of like, oh, you guys should be fighting versus you guys should be coming together. And I believe the opposite. We all should be coming together. And there is so much room at the top. And I also believe that what's for me is for me, what's for you is for you. And working with other people who have similar missions makes the work so much more enjoyable. I don't know about you, but I work from home. And so this little box that we in, this board I be in every single day. And so being able to connect with other people who have similar values, similar backgrounds, doing similar work, it warms my heart. But not only just for me, but because the work that we're doing is so important to people out in the world, and people honestly need what we have. And you have a gift, I have a gift, and somebody's going to need your gift. Somebody's going to need my gift. And so therefore, us working together makes our message spread further, and it helps more people.
When I was doing my research, I saw you have the word happiness.
Oh, yes.
How important is it for people to strive for happiness?
I think there's mixed feelings about the word happiness. A lot of people are like, happiness, right? But I don't think people really understand what happiness is. Happiness, right, is those positive emotions, meaning like joy, gratitude, optimism, hopefulness, right? It's those positive emotions that we experience coupled with the sense that you matter, with the sense that you have a purpose in this life. So it's positive emotions and purpose put together. And so if you look at that definition, it's imperative. It is imperative that we strive to be happier in our lives, because that means that you are experiencing more positive emotions versus negative, and that you understand that you were put here for a purpose, and that it is your job to figure out what it is and share it with the world. Because it's not good enough for you to understand what your purpose is and then keep it to yourself. Because, right? You know what I'm saying? So we're all placed here to share our gifts. And so overall, people are inherently more happy when they know their purpose and they experience more positive emotions.
What do you do to help your own mental health?
Good job. Good question. So I am a dance machine. So I love to dance. And the way that I get to dance mostly during, this time in my life is I go to the gym. They have this awesome dance class that I do. And so that's me working out is my way to unplug. And so I am an avid Peloton user. So it's not an ad, but I have it at home. And I love walking, running, biking on that. And so that's one way that I help my mental health. And then I also just really have moments every morning where I take time for myself. I am a part of the either the 4 or the 5 a.m. club, right?
Oh,
4 a.m. if I got a lot of work to do. 5 a.m. if I got some work to do. And so, but during that time, I don't just do work. I get up, for me, I read my Bible, I pray, read something that's motivational. I may journal. I do all those things in the morning, and I just have quiet time. Just me with my own thoughts. Because a lot of times, I know for me, throughout my day, I am so busy. I'm doing 1,000 different things that I don't have time to take a break or even take a breath sometimes. And so that morning time really sets me up for success. And so I wake up, I do my morning routine, which includes that morning time. I work out, which allows me to sweat and feel successful, right? Because when we do that in the morning time, you can check it off your list and you've done something for your body. You can feel super successful. And then I get down here, I get to my desk and I'm ready to go, but I'm already feeling accomplished and my mind is already clear because I gave myself time before anybody else was up. And I got kids and they be getting up early. So I have to get myself ready so that I'm able to be the best mom that I can be to my kids when they get up in the morning.
What are some of the things you've learned from your kids?
Oh my goodness. My kids. So I have total 3 kids. I have an adult son, Tamazier. I have a 7-year-old Mackenzie, and I have a 6-year-old Walter. And they teach me how to be patient every single day. Right. I mean, I think that when you have young kids, especially me, I started over in life with, kids because I have an adult son, and I've learned how to be more patient. I used to pray for patience, but I stopped praying for patience because when you pray for patience, a lot of times you'll get tested. You'll get tested. You'll be,
Yeah.
there. And I'm tired of all the tests. But they have taught me how to be more patient and also just more kind in general, because I can tend to be running so fast. I'll say not necessarily more kind, but taught me how to slow down. Because I'm a very fast-paced person. I move fast, I talk fast sometimes, all of that. But when you have kids that are young like mine, you need to slow down. You need to slow down. You need to take a breath. You need to take a beat. You also need to figure out that you don't have to be Superwoman or Superman. And so those are the things that my children have taught me. My adult son has taught me how to communicate better. When you have a older child who is growing up right before your eyes and you're used to seeing them as this young person,
Yeah.
you gotta step back and let go, and you can't say everything that you want to say and everything like that. And I've learned how to really try to communicate better with him so that our relationship is strong. Because, at the end of the day, that's what you want. You want to have strong relationships with your children. So I've learned so many lessons from my kids.
What would you say to anyone going through a tough time?
Mm. Well, I would first say, take a step back, take a breather, right? I think a lot of times when we're going through tough times, our brain starts reeling with solutions, like trying to figure out what solutions are. And I think that it's hard to figure out solutions when your brain is going 1,000 miles an hour. So the first thing that you need to do is take a beat, take a step back. And that might look different for everybody. You might need to get up early in the morning so that you can be by yourself. You might need to stay up a little bit later so that you can be by yourself, but take some time just to be with your own thoughts around the issue, because there's so many beautiful things that come inside of being alone and really having that alone time. So that's the first thing that I would say, is take that step back. The second thing I would say is really think about how you ultimately want the outcome of your situation to be? What's the goal? Like, what do you want it to look like? I mean, of course, right? Some of the things that we go through in life, we can't change. We can't change. But I think that it's important for us to kind of know what we would want, and then accept the things that we can change and let the things that we can't change go, right? Because we can't always change the outcome
Yeah.
of a challenge. But if you have a goal in mind, then that'll let you know that you can, potentially you may be able to change it, but it might take some work. And then if you figured out a goal, just figure out one little tiny step that you can take towards that goal of overcoming a challenge. I think a lot of times when we have challenges, we get so overwhelmed by
Yeah.
the challenge itself, right? We don't even know where to start in terms of trying to fix the challenge because our emotions take over. And with this, I always tell my clients to choose the next best step, not the next right step,
Mm.
because who knows this is going to be right. It might not be right, but you can choose what you feel is best in the moment for you to do, right? And that gives you a little leeway to be able to make mistakes and stuff like that. And if it's not what you want it to be, then you can change and you can pivot to the next best step, right? And I think that if you follow those, that's a little simple step that I walk my clients through is basically, let's take a break. Let's figure out what you want. Let's figure out the things that you can control. And then let's create some goals and take one tiny small step towards that goal. That helps people. And this is repeatable. This is repeatable day to day, minute by minute, hour by hour, whatever you need it to be. But it's a repeatable process that we all can do when we're going through challenges. And challenges last different periods of time. But this is a repeatable process.
Where do you want to see your mission, say, in the next 3 to 5 years?
Oh, yes. So my mission and purpose in life is to help women discover their purpose and find the career or build the business that they love. And so I would love, love, love to help 1 million+ women do that. That's what I want. I want for more women to understand that we are powerful. We have so much to offer the world, but a lot of times we play very small. And so I would love for my mission, my voice to be able to be amplified, to be able to be spread to millions of women. And so, one of the things I always say is the Dr. Kiki Ramsey Show podcast. It's a podcast right now, but I've ultimately wanted it to be a nationally syndicated show. And so I'm like, hey, Oprah girl, come on, yeah, listen, call me up. so that I can amplify the message and help more women become successful.
How can people reach out and learn more?
Yeah, you can go to drkiki.com to find more about what I'm doing. There's all the links there. And of course, I'm also Dr. Kiki Ramsey on all the social media outlets, and I'm on all of them. And so you can reach out to me on a social media outlet of your choice, or you can just go to drkiki.com and shoot me a message, and then we'll be sure to contact you back.